Welcome back to MMAOddsBreaker. Today on the phone we have Shawn Jordan. He's getting ready to fight Jack May, coming up here on UFC Fight Night, August 16th in Bangor, Maine. A great card so far. It's got a lot of good talent on it. It seems like, Shawn, every time I talk to you, you're on your way to the grocery store to get more food. You're a heavyweight, like you've told me before. You can eat more than most other guys. Do you find out that during training camp your food bill actually goes up because of how healthy you have to eat?
Yeah, it's funny when you have to clean your diet up and eat healthy, and like you said, I'm a heavyweight. I eat more, so I eat a lot more vegetables and stuff. So yeah, absolutely, my food bill goes up way up. It feels funny because you're eating less protein, like actual animal protein, but you're still eating so much healthy food that is a little more pricey. So yeah, I guess your food bill goes up a little bit.
All right, let's go back and we're going to talk about your last two fights. You've had two losses your last two fights. Gabriel Gonzaga, Matt Mitrione. You got KO'd in both, and then you're fighting Jack May, who's coming off a loss himself. He got TKO'd in his last fight. So, what things did you have to change in your camp to keep from getting your button pushed? Was it just more time doing stand up? Was it more? I mean, what did you have to do to change?
You know what? I had to kind of went through some life changes, I guess. I was just in a bad place mentally for last year. Kind of got away from fighting for about a month after my last fight, and just kind of reset. Make some changes, and a lot better place mentally now. Because you said I'm coming off two losses, but there's two losses that I went in there and I was brawling. I wasn't actually competing like I normally do. And you know what? Gabriel caught me with a really, really great counter hook. And, throw that punch 100 times and it landed once. But it landed that night and it was great. Great for him. And then, the Matt Mitrione fight was, again, I was in there brawling. I wasn't mentally in the fight. But however, good, great for those guys. They got wins out of it. But, I'm looking to turn it back around, and I focused my camp a lot more just mentally this time, and trying to prepare for everything.
We go all the way back to 2011, and you beat LeVar Johnson, you beat Ali Thompson, and you lose to Czech Congo in 2012 to a decision, and you kind of come out and you kind of change your style a little bit, like you said, from fighting to like more of a brawling style. Mike Russo, you TKO him in the second in 2013. Pat Barry, you TKO with punches in the first in 2013. Did that kind of set you up for, hey, this new style is kind of working, so I don't really need to change things? And then you go, before you get to Gonzaga and Mitrione?
Yeah, we were actually discussing with some of the other guys in the gym, Mike Brown and I, and that's the point. It's funny, especially as a heavyweight. I mean, it only takes a couple, one punch and it changes the whole fight. Yeah, sometimes the worst thing you can do is get some great finishes from banging it out, because then you lose track of all those skills that you have, and you want to go in there and just brawl. Because again, heavyweights, all of us hit hard. Yeah. You can't be 260 pounds and not hit hard. So yeah, you lose track and kind of focus on what other skill sets you have and what's actually smart. Instead of intelligently competing, you're going out there and you're brawling.
And that does raise a different factor, because if you look at Cain Velasquez, the champ, and you look at all the super top end guys, heavyweights throughout the world, they're not really brawlers like it used to be 5-6 years ago. Everyone's kind of changed this technical game at the heavyweight division, where everybody kind of knows that one punch knockout is very, very close to coming. Do you have to spend a lot of time getting punches thrown at you by other heavyweights in the gym to get you used to seeing that action coming at you? Or has the game changed so much now with these different style of heavyweights that the constant grind, it's almost like catch wrestling, where it's always like a lot more heavyweights now are spending a lot more time pulling on each other, leaning on each other than they do actually striking each other. Unless of course you're like a Country Nelson, Roy Nelson, who punches quite a bit, but the majority of the other heavyweights are kind of leaning on each other and making more of a grappling match. Do you feel that's happened quite a bit too?
Yeah, I think stylistically, the evolution of the heavyweight division has to come in order for us to continue to compete at weight that we do. And again, you know, you said Roy Nelson, he throws a lot of punches, but he takes a lot of damage. Yeah, and he's lucky enough to have a chin that can handle all that, you know, or a head that, you know. But at some point, that's gonna not be there anymore, you know.
Right.
So it just, again, like I said, yeah, everyone has to be more intelligent and compete more intelligently instead of just brawling and banging it out, because that kind of leads to a short career.
Yeah.
And, you know, for example, like, you know, even with Kane, yes, again, heavyweights all have so much power to knock each other out. That first time he fought Junior, he got caught behind the air and he was done.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily a better fighter, or necessarily a bad game plan. It was just the fact that everyone's a heavyweight, everyone's big. And then he came out and he fought smarter and stayed tight and, you know, snugged up. And again, like you said, we answer a little bit more, but then we explode real fast. So I think all in all, the weight class has evolved a lot and has to keep up with, you know, the new athleticism that's coming in as well.
It's the interesting fact now is that over the last since I started fighting back in '97, and you start watching the development of the group, the heavyweight division has gone through a tremendous amount of changes. Where at first there was the small heavyweight, like the Randy Couture style heavyweight would win everything, you know, athletic and mobile. Then became the Brock Lesnar heavyweight, you know, the humongous gargantuan with super strength. And now it's changed back into the athletic kind of, I don't want to say smaller heavyweight, but mid-sized heavyweight. You know, it's not a guy that's cutting down from 300 to make the 265 weight limit. It's a guy that weighs like 250, 255, and it kind of sits around that weight all the time. Have you noticed the same changes in your division that I've noticed, or do you see something different?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, the changes in the evolution of the heavyweights is kind of, it was only a matter of time until, especially now that we have traditional athletes from, you know, football and stuff that are coming in, and they're bigger guys, but they're not humongous heavyweights. You know, example, you know, you said Brock Lesnar, and back in the time when, you know, Big Tim Sylvia was in there, just humongous guys. Maybe not great athletes, but just humongous, and you know, you have some, you know, a lot of weight behind you, and you land punches, and it does damage. But like you said, yeah, it's had to become an evolution where they've gone from big to kind of medium-sized guys to, you know, regular-sized guys. You know, I mean, guys, you know, like Brian Suave, who is, you know, a good athlete, not a humongous guy, but, you know, has good size to him. And then you have Kane, who's, you know, 6'1", 250. You know, again, it's kind of a, like you said, it's an evolution and a stylistic thing, because those big, humongous heavyweights can't really keep up with the mid-sized guys that are fighting fast and have motors. You know, they don't get tired as much. But then you still have guys like Big Silva, who, I mean, I don't think anybody can actually call him the tweener. He's a humongous human being. I cherish him every day. Who has a pretty good control, and if he hits you with one of those big lunch boxes he has for hands, I mean, it's gonna hurt. So I guess it's just, yeah, you said, like, they've had to, you know, evolve so much to where, yeah, now we have kind of the tweeners, and then we have the big guys still that are in there. So I don't know, but yes, it's evolved, you know, a great deal. I think it's going to continue to evolve as the sport grows.
You know, and that's the interesting thing is that people keep asking me, like, you know, how much has the world changed? Like, what's going to happen, and how is MMA going to work here in the next year or whatever? And I keep saying that it's going to be, you know, guys are going to start getting their weight down to where they're kind of walking around their natural weight, you know, the natural fighting weight, kind of like a GSP, who wasn't a super big welterweight. He was always kind of around 180, 185 pounds, and that's just where he stuck it at. And then, you know, he was the champ that he was, just super athletic. And the heavyweights are kind of doing the same thing. I see a big transition coming up here, obviously, in the lighter weight, the smaller weight guys, and, of course, the women's fighting is coming up. Other than the heavyweight division, what is the other division, whether it's male or female, that you really enjoy watching when you're at home and can just kind of relax and watch fights by yourself or with your group?
I think, surprisingly enough, a lot of my friends are in the 145 pounders that I train with and that are around regularly. Watching those guys is kind of I mean, not even in fights. Watching them train is crazy to me, because if heavyweights train that way, we never make the fights.
Yeah.
Those little guys in the gym, and they are fighting. They're not. I mean, it's training, but they're fighting. And it's funny to watch them because, I mean, they bang each other up, they punch in the face, they kick each other in the head full speed, and most of them are okay, but to me, it's funny because then the heavyweights go in there, we do, yes, we have days where we go hard, but, you know, all of us have headgears on and all of us, you know, prepared. So yeah, those little guys are really exciting. They throw so much at each other. It's kind of, it's real intense all the time.
Yeah, I do like the lighter weight guys because they do tend to bring it, and they have every single one of them has the ability to take a punch because they're so much smaller. They can take, you know, 4 or 5 strong hits and keep coming. So from a viewer standpoint, from sitting on TV and watching it, it looks more action packed because they're going back and forth so much more. And so I agree with you. I like the lighter weight divisions, and I'm glad at how tough they're becoming because it's really making it better for all divisions and all weight classes as a whole to see how much action can actually happen.
Absolutely. You know, one of the two of my favorite guys are guys I train with, which is Nick Lentz and Dustin Poirier, who are both 145ers. And watching them both train, it's just crazy to me. And you watch them in their fights, they train with intention. You know? Yeah. And, you know, some heavyweights do too. But if we did that every day, you know, you'd be getting dropped and you just wouldn't have a very long career. Your jaw would be gone within a year.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Shawn. You're correct. All right, Shawn. Thanks for coming out here with MMAOddsBreaker. I appreciate it. I know you got to get in and get grocery shopping, so we'll talk to you later. We'll talk to you after you get done with Jack May on August 16th on UFC Fight Night.
Awesome, Frank. I appreciate it. Yeah.
You got it, bud.